Welcome everybody to SRTV Network. I'm Jay Weezy, and we're live tonight with some dirt action with the Southern Super Series. Southern Super Series is sponsored by Cardwell Brothers Racing, Olson Fab Metal Fabrications, Royal RV Center, One Call Plumbing and Gas Fitting, Hamill Motorsports, and CMF Motors Electrics. And I appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. Up here in the booth with me, John Wimbish, the famous John Wimbish. How you doing, John?
Doing great. Didn't know I was famous. Maybe we'll get there one day, hanging out with you, covering these races here. But super excited about this. I love dirt track late model racing, especially on a little 3/8 mile like Lanier here. It'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you've been a part of some dirt racing here, so you got a lot of experience, which I'm really glad to have you up here with me and to have you help me out here. But to give some of the viewers a little bit of information on what's going to go on here tonight, as usual on these dirt races here, what we've been doing here the past few weeks or so, or you know, the last few streams, they run a little bit of practice, and then they do some heat racing. They do some qualifying to qualify where they're going to start in their heat race. The heat race is going to qualify them to where they're going to start into the main event here. And if they don't quite make the qualifying session, then for the A main, then they'll run a B main and they'll take a couple cars out of that. So how that's going to work is they're going to run a couple cars at a time. Hang on just a second. They're going to run a couple cars at a time during qualifying. Right now, we're still in practice session. So they're just out there doing some testing and tuning. They have an open setup going on so they can make some adjustments on their car. But they call it group qualifying. It's going to determine where they're going to start in the heat lineups. They're going to do 3 cars at a time with a little bit of gap in between them. Each car is going to get 2 laps to put down the fastest lap they can put down. And that's going to qualify them in which heat race they're going to run in. Once they get into the heat race, wow, that was crazy seeing that car fly off the track like that. But yeah, once they run their heat races, where they finish at, it's going to qualify them for which main event they're going to run in, either the A main or the B main. And if some of them don't make it, they'll get to go to the B main. But the way they do it is the top 2 automatically go to the A main. They also, the top 2 run a dash race. It's going to be a 6-lap dash, I believe, to see where the fastest guys are going to start up in the front of the pack, who's going to get the pole or not. And then, you know, they take, I think, 3rd through 5th will make it to the A main. And then the other cars will go to the B main if they have one. It's going to be interesting because, John, I don't know if you caught the last race they had over here, the Southern Super Series, but they did 100 laps at Knoxville, and they only did 55, or they did 55 laps before the caution came out, man. How about that? I mean, so they got a lot of talented drivers over here.
Yeah, they really do, and I've raced with some of these guys before, heard of some of these guys before, and have caught the streams before, so they do a wonderful job. And the other thing that's great about it is it's open setup. You can make changes. It's not just fixed where, you know, you have to drive the car loose, or, you know, it's tight and then you've got to make adjustments to how you drive it. You can adjust your car the way you want it to feel. And the biggest thing about dirt late model racing is you've got to adjust your car for what it's going to be like over the long run when the track gets dry. You know, the bottom gets used up and you got to be up top. So it's not so much, not as easy as asphalt, you know, where you can start being fast on the fly. You know, your car's not going to run the way you want it to in the first part of your run. You've got to let it come to you and let the track come to you. So essentially you're racing the track, not the people around you.
Yeah, and you know, this is a small track. It's a 3/8 mile oval, so it's a really small track, and they got a lot of cars that register for this event. Not all the cars are going to make it, which is why they do the heat races and the B mains there to see who's going to make it to the features. So it's going to be a fight. It's going to be a battle to try to get that car into the feature, the main event here. Once they switch over to the race session, man, and like I said, I believe there's 38 cars, John. That's a lot of late models out there for a 3/8 mile oval.
Yeah, that's a ton of cars trying to make this race, and even when they get them all sorted out here, and we go to the feature, it's still going to be a lot of guys on a 3/8 mile track. But this is the type of racing that I love. Grew up doing myself in a late model, just like what we're watching tonight. So this stuff excites me because I know so much about it and enjoy watching it. iRacing's done a great job trying to bring this, as true to life as they can with the help of Casey Kane Racing, Clint Boyer Racing. They've done so much to make this better, and especially when it comes to running, up top there on the cushion. And that's really where the big change comes in later on in the race here. In the beginning, we'll see guys hug that down there towards the wall, but the biggest thing about a 3/8 mile like this is you've got to set yourself up for success, meaning coming off the corner. You're going to see guys throw it in. They're going to be a little too high coming off of 2 or 4, and you have to lift. You're going to slap the wall right there, and you see that a lot in real life. So it's going to be so much fun. They can make so many changes with the J-bar, the axle lead and all that. The axle lead, basically just re-squares the car depending on the J-bar height. So it's so many changes you can make to these cars. It's a lot of work that goes into setting these things up.
Yeah, and that's one thing I know nothing about. I have a hard time on the dirt side. I'm not the worst, and I'm not the best. I'm kind of mediocre at the dirt, so it's really good to have you up in here in the booth with me. It really helps out the viewers because, unless they know exactly what's going on, which most of them do, then they're kind of confused because I just ramble on and I just go with what comes out, and sometimes it ain't the right thing, and they correct me out there in the chat. They help out a lot out there, so I really appreciate the viewers. I appreciate everybody that tunes in for these races that we put on over here at SRTV Network, and Southern Super Series for coming on board. David Cardwell, he's a great guy, and he's really, really fast. He won the last race. And I don't have an idea of their points standings and how that is right now, but I do know this is round 5. Because I believe right now they're having a drivers meeting, and they're getting set up to for qualifying. So as soon as they start throwing some cars out there on the track, we'll be covering it, that's for sure. And if you're just now tuning in, you're watching SRTV Network. We're presenting the Southern Super Series here. Late models at Lanier, this little small 3/8 mile oval. And it's going to be a lot of fun. We got about 38 drivers so far. Registration is still open, so there's still room for more. And only a few's going to make it to the main event. I believe it's going to be 20 cars. 19 or 20 cars, and don't quote me on that because I could be wrong as usual. I'm wrong about a lot of things, and like I said, let me know if everything looks and sounds okay, and I know I don't look or sound okay, so don't tell me nothing about that.
Well, lucky for everybody else, they can't see what you look like right now.
Absolutely. I definitely unplugged the cam and I didn't throw it in there, so I didn't want nobody to see my ugly face. But yeah, I believe they're going through a driver meeting. It just now switched over to the qualifying session. So we're about to get ready to see some heat racing action after they qualify. So like I said a while ago, they're going to run, I believe, 3 cars in a group. They're going to spread out a little bit. Each car is going to get 2 laps to put down the fastest time. And if you're trying to keep track by looking up top at the leaderboard, it's going to show you the fastest car at the very top. Right now, the fastest in practice is Chris Wolford in that 244 car. He really put down a hot one. So he's on top of the leaderboard. And then it goes on from there, fastest to the slowest. And I doubt any of them slow in here because I seen them race last week. They had 2 wide, 3 wide, 4 wide, 4 rows back. I mean, it was just a blast. I even went back and watched it, and I enjoyed watching it. I don't really enjoy hearing myself there, but, you know, I do enjoy the racing action. And they put on a great show over here at Southern Super Series. So if you're interested in running with these guys, check them out. And if you're watching on the YouTube side, all the information is in the description below the video. If you're a member of iRacing, they do run hosted session here, so it's not a league session you're looking for, but they do have a Facebook page, and you can check them out on their Facebook page. Check them out, Southern Super Series, and David Cardwell, he's the man. And right now, we got the number 37 car out there, Randall Carter. He's out there running him some laps.
Then we got the 07 Weaver 37 around the Carter. The 721 out there turning laps right now.
That's James Normoyle Jr. And, you know, I have a little bit of a problem pronouncing some of these names. And like I said, I apologize if I say somebody's name wrong. And John, you've been up in the booth quite a bit. You know how it is. It's not easy pronouncing some of these names sometimes, but they do correct me on that. And as soon as I get it corrected, I definitely come back and give them an apology for that. And then I definitely try to say it right, which it's still hard because you still want to say it the way that you see it. But hey man, James Normoyle Jr., he's at the top of the board right now. He ran a 13.518. So we know how fast he is. We seen him last week at Knoxville. He was running in the top 5. I believe he got into a little unfortunate incident there towards the end of the race. Kind of affected his finish position. But we're taking a look at the 14 of Blake Cannon. He's out there running some laps, as well as the 96 of Ricky LeDuc.
Yeah, right now the track is in what I would call prime shape qualifying. When they started out at practice, you're going to see guys pick their times up now because of the usage that's out there on the track. They started out basically with a brand new fresh track. It's very soft, very wet, a lot of slipping and sliding. You know, your tires aren't gripping. Right now, they've got, you know, very good grip, you know, good enough to get some good laps in here. But still, as you see with the 14 car here, Blake Cannon, you know, he's sticking to that bottom, trying to get himself set up for a great exit coming off.
Yeah, and Blake Cannon's going to be one to keep an eye on, that's for sure. You know, but it's kind of hard to keep an eye on one guy over here, John, because they're all pretty fast, man, and there's no doubt about it. And I don't know if you catch that last video that we put up there of Knoxville, but it was a blast over there. They do 100 laps here in the main event, so y'all get ready because we got some heat racing action. And then we got a 100-lap main event coming to you live here on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. And if you want a shout out, man, hey, let me know. We'll give you a shout out. And, you know, as always, I'd like to give all our thoughts and prayers over here at SRTV Network out to people that's lost loved ones and is having a hard time. And, John, I know you know how that is. And, you know, Blake Mosley, there's a lot of people that's been going through some hard times. And we really feel for you, and all our thoughts and prayers go out to you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And everybody else does as well. I'm not the only one. Lost my father to esophageal cancer back in January. He found out in November. He had a couple months to live there, and I was able to be with him every day. It was great spending time together, but there's so many people on iRacing. That's what I love about the iRacing community is people come together. I've had so many people, whether it's people I've raced with in the league or just in official races, you know, reach out to me on Facebook or social media or text me. And iRacing really is a great community of drivers, man. And if you're looking, you know, to get into this, you know, as a hobby or something you want to take seriously, it can be a lot of fun if you surround yourself with the right people. And you know, you and I've done that. We're in some great leagues and some good people. I've broadcasted before with Joe White over on OSR Network. Another great guy that's done a lot to help out leagues on the iRacing community. So, you know, it's a lot of things that go on, but, you know, we are all, you know, one big family. It's kind of strange to say that, but it's just, that's how it is. That's a racing community in general. You know, I grew up racing, that's the way it was, and it's just crazy how it carries over here. Even though this isn't real life, it's a simulator, but the same spirit carries over here to iRacing.
Yeah, I agree, man. There's a lot of great people over here. And if you are interested, look it up, iRacing.com. Get yourself a steering wheel and a nice computer. Come over here and compete with us. Right now, the 14 of Blake Cannon, he's on the point tonight. But guess what? David Cardwell's out there looking to take him off of the pole. The 107, that is, and the 29 car of Matthew Hearn. Matthew Hearn's out there running some laps, and also that 67 of Cameron G. Bolin. So let's see if he can knock Blake off of the pole. I believe it's going to be a hard thing to do, but we got a lot of cars left here to qualify, so we don't know who's going to get the pole here tonight. It's just going to be a wait and see type thing. And as you were saying earlier, man, yeah, Joe White, he's a great human being, man. And I'll be over there with him on Wednesday, starting next Wednesday for the Sim 500 League, so check it out. That round's done, and they couldn't do it, John. Blake Cannon.
I think the 509 set down by Blake is going to be a fairly tough time to beat from what we saw in practice. As we run laps here, the track is going to get, you know, more and more wear on it. 509 is a stout time.
Yeah, and you know, second is James Normoyle Jr. He ran a 518. So some close times here, and I believe it's going to get a lot closer as these cars go on, as we've got about 12 cars disqualified so far. So we got a long way to go here. We got the 17 out there, Barrett Bishop. Barrett Bishop running his qualifying lap. Also the 19, Garrett Nebrew. And like I said, there's another name that I don't know if I'm saying it right. But Garrett, I apologize, and if you send me a message, I'll make sure I get it right. And we got another car out there, just two. Oh, Scotty Grabinski in the 36 car. He's out there running his qualifier lap. This is one of my favorite tracks, John. It might be a 3/8 mile oval, but it's a really good track on asphalt and dirt. And it's one thing I love that iRacing did is they threw some dirt on this track, man, because it was a really good short track asphalt style track, but now it's got dirt on it, man, and it's really a lot more exciting.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to drive these things, especially with the Pro late models, and you know, they're very, very throttle happy. They like to be under power. That's really how you get a late model around the track, is not so much you know, take it easy and things like that. It's all about the throttle, and that's how you control the rear end. It's how you control so much of this car, is by, you know, your throttle input, whether it's at 20% or 100%. So you'll see the guys that, you know, they can throw it in there sideways, but they're still in the throttle, because that's how you get the car to turn. The rear end responds to that by taking that left rear tire. It jacks up the suspension there, and that left rear tire will actually drive itself forward underneath the car towards the door of the driver. And so you really drive off with the rear end, not the front tires.
Yeah, and they got what, one brake caliper, I believe, on this car here. So if you do touch that brake, right now we got the 39 of Blake Falmer out there, or Falmer, and the 13 of Devin Rooks, as well as Steven. Hang on a second here. We got the 26. He's coming out, getting ready to run his laps. And I apologize if I missed one of those guys, but we got a lot of buttons up here, John.
Unfortunately for you, you're the one that's got to push them to make it look right. I just get to sit here and talk.
Hey, man, but everything helps, you know. Greg Caldera in the 119 car. It's a red and white car. You know, I love red.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you the one thing that I am seeing out of these cars right now is, you know, we saw earlier with the 17 car, and I don't want to discredit Barrett Bishop. I watched his qualifying lap. He looked so fast, and his car was so smooth, and I thought this is going to be a very, you know, a good fast lap. And come to find out, he ran a 6.23 compared to the leader's 5.09. But what's happening is these cars, it looks like they're getting tight on entry. You can see the front wheels turning, but the car doesn't want to turn. So you've got to find a way to basically back that turn up a little bit and throw the car in there sideways. But the problem is you're not going to be very fast that way. So I think it's a little beneficial to the guys that got to go a little earlier in qualifying, unless somebody makes a really good change here where they can get some really good bite from center off. That'll make all the difference.
Yeah, and you see the track starting to slick off down there on the bottom, you know, that shiny part there. You think the speed's going to be right above that or in it? Is it going to be a low line or a high line type track here?
Well, it can be both. Basically, you know, when you're running side by side, you know, you can't run, you know, the way that you want to run. You've got to lift more. You got to be a little more careful, a little more tedious about the guys around you here. You know, you don't want to run somebody over. So you can stick to the bottom line there because there's grip there. And that's the thing about these cars that a lot of people don't know is they actually lay rubber. There are tracks that I've been to in real life, Natural Bridge, for example, in Virginia, where it was a very short track like this, not a lot of banking to it, but you could literally hear the late models when they go in there, tires screeching because you're laying rubber down on the dirt. So that's the way this track is going to be around the bottom, but the problem is you got to have the drive off, so you got to do something in your setup with your suspension, with your pressures to make sure that you get that drive off, because the obviously the momentum is going to be around the top side.
Yeah, we rode around there with James Shirley, and he looked really, really smooth. And I believe you're going to be right, John. The earlier you can get out on the track, the better. Because as you can see, the times are starting to slow down a little bit. So we had Leo Pena out there, and the number 16, and that number 16, he's looking really good out there on that dirt. And one thing I've noticed here with all these cars, and there is a lot of them, they got a lot of great paint jobs.
Yeah, they really do. A lot of these guys do, and maybe something we could look into. Some of these guys have some real, you know, paying sponsors, things like that. That has started to grow here on iRacing as well, with leagues and having sponsors that pay you. But it's cool, man. People like having their cars painted up good. You know, you painted a lot of mine, and and I enjoy having different paint schemes to run here. But the good thing for these guys that I have to say that are qualifying later on, kind of getting the short end of the stick here, is when we go back to racing, the track will be basically rolled back in. It'll be back to a you know, better racing surface for them, so they can work their way up through the field, qualify their way into the main, and then have a really good feature race as well. So just because you're not qualifying where you want to doesn't mean you can't race your way into it.
So the track's going to be carried over here, huh?
Well, what they do is they're carrying it over. Qualifying, it was at low usage, 20%. So basically what they're doing is like they do in real life. They go out, they roll the track, water it back down, you know, throw some lime out there, whatever you want to throw on it, and keep the moisture in the track, and it makes it better racing. So they're going to do the same thing here. They take it back down to a lower amount of usage there, so the guys put the laps on it. So it makes it a little bit more racy. So, you know, if you do qualify towards the back, you can race your way to the front here. And I think these guys have what it takes. I mean, we're seeing some super fast times. There's a ton of guys right now qualified, I think, through 30th place. All right, we're talking about 0.3 difference from first to 30th. That is amazingly fast, and shows you how much these guys work on what they're trying to do here, perfecting their craft. I mean, just first to 13th is leaders at a 13.509, and 13th place is a 5.90. That's a lot of cars to be within, you know, that amount of time of each other here. So any one of these guys here, it's going to be amazing race to watch. I don't know what to say other than that. These guys are fast, and if they make the right adjustments here with the track being rolled back in for race time, they're going to be able to race their way to the front. They do have fast repairs tonight as well, so if they get caught up in something, you know, they can pull back into the pit road there, be able to use their fast repair, get a brand new car, and get back out there, which is it's a cool thing to have when you're racing like this. You know, we're racing on computers, all right, so sometimes net code happens, sometimes, you know, things happen that are beyond our control, and you don't want that to ruin a guy's race. So they give them some fast repairs to use here, and we're on a 3/8 mile track, so you're going to see some beating and banging, that's for sure. You're going to see some guys slapping the wall. We might see a huge pile up here. You never know, but I could tell you, it's not going to be short of action tonight.
Oh, I doubt that. So if you see one of these guys come down pit road, it's because they're coming down to get some of that damage fixed they got. But as you were saying earlier about the paint jobs, yeah, if anybody's looking for a paint job, get a hold of me. I'll help them out with a paint. And you know, one thing I was thinking about doing was giving away iRacing gift card. And I was wanting to do like a raffle or something, and maybe have like 10 slots, maybe $5, $6, $7 a slot. You can buy up to 3 slots. And then we'll do some way to draw a number, and the winner will get a $50 gift card here with iRacing. But we'll have to get back to you on that. It's just something I've been thinking about doing over here. So we're finishing up another round. Stephen Brady in the number 25 car just now finished up his lap. We're going to have another set of cars coming out. We're almost done. We've got 37 cars so far. And they got 43, I believe. There's 43 cars that showed up now. They're still pulling in with their trailers, so we don't know how many it's going to be, but there's only going to be about 20, I think, in the A main.
Yeah, I think they're going to do 18 in the A main. From what I'm reading in the chat here from the guys here, so good to see. You know, the guys watching, they kind of listen, so they'll be able to correct us if we're wrong or tell us what's going on here. But I'll tell you what's interesting to watch is I saw a couple guys try that high line, and it wasn't quite working out for them here. A lot of slipping and sliding going on. You can really lose the rear end here. So that's going to be interesting to watch as you see the line comes in. And that's the other cool thing about iRacing and what they've been able to do is let you work this line in, and you see the track gets worn. You see where the line is. You can see where it's going to be slick. But up top, where you think that cushion is, you're really kind of on eggshells when you're trying to run that cushion right there, especially when it comes to exit on this track. And you're really not on the throttle that much, from exit back to entry into 1 or into 3. It's all about getting the power down as quick as you can, but then you got to get that car set up for the turn, and that's where you make up a lot of time.
Yeah, we got a question from one of our viewers, Chaotic the Chronic. He said, how's a rookie like me on iRacing be a part of a league like this? And you're watching on the Twitch side, so you really don't have a whole lot of information there. We just now branched over to the Twitch side, but if you check us out on YouTube, under the video we got all the information you need, but you can look them up on Facebook, and I'll throw it on the screen for you because you're watching the Southern Super Series here at Lanier. So check them out on Facebook. Look them up, the Southern Super Series. And I apologize for showing that number 11 for so long, Dustin Sizemore, but the number 78 of Chris, oh no. I don't even know if I want to do him like that, John. The number 78 of Chris is out there. And we also got the 74 of Blake Brown. He's got a good looking car. He's got a iRacing paint job on there, man. And I love some of them iRacing paint jobs. They look really good. And Blake, he's the 41st driver that's qualified. And I believe we got 2 cars left to go out on track. It's going to be the 34 of Cody Jones and the 23 of Chris Kupta, which we know him pretty well. Blake Brown's out there having all kinds of fun though right now. As you can see the speeds as he's coming through the corner at around 60 mile an hour, gets up to about 100 there before he has to slow it down and make that turn. But hey, I appreciate you watching over there on the Twitch side, and if there's anything I can do for you, hey, just type it out. We'll see what we can do. Maybe Chris is starting in the back. I'm not for sure, but we're going to find out here real soon, as we're about to be finished up with qualifying, and then we're going to move over to heat racing. And I'll tell you how the heat races are going to go here real quick. The heat races are going to be 8 laps. All right. And 4 or 5 of those cars are going to make it to the A main. The top 2 finishers will move to a dash race. They're going to dash it out to see where they start in that front spot. because they're already going to be starting up front, but they got a race to see who's going to start on the poles. So once we switch over to the heat racing, we're going to have all kinds of fun. I can guarantee you that. And while we got a minute, the Southern Super Series is sponsored by Cardwell Brothers Racing, Olson Fab Metal Fabrication, Royal RV Center, CMF Motors and Electrics. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Hamill Motorsports, and One Call Plumbing and Gas Fitting. And we really appreciate everybody that helps out these leagues and helps make all this possible. We couldn't do it without you, or they couldn't do it without you. And I'd like to say, hey man, I appreciate everybody that watches these videos. If it wasn't for the viewers, I'd be talking to myself. So hey, I appreciate y'all for hanging in there. And one more thing, I'd like to thank you, John, for coming up here in the booth, because up here with me, I'm Jay Weezy. I got John Wimbish, the legend, the man, the myth, the legend, the dirt racer. But he's damn good at asphalt.
Well, I appreciate the invite, man. I enjoy this stuff, and sent me the message, said, hey, it's Lanier, 100 laps. I was all in, man. This is going to be, really cool to watch. And I've gone back and watched the broadcast of these races, and these guys do a fantastic job. Lots of really good racing here. And it's not just that, but it's good, clean racing. These guys race each other very, very hard. Like you said last week, I think went 50-some laps without a caution. So that's, it's pretty crazy. Now, we're probably not going to see that tonight on a 3/8 mile. We're going to see some guys hitting each other. I'll be surprised if we go 50 laps without a caution, but doesn't mean these guys, are not just doing a fantastic job here. But that's a lot of power, lots of cars here around each other, and everybody wants to make this feature race.
Absolutely. You got 43 drivers that are fighting, so half of them are going to go home, at least half of them, because 43 drivers at Lanier is not going to happen. I can guarantee you that. And that's why they do the heat races, to determine, hey, who's going to make the race and who ain't. So if you ain't fast enough, hey, no hard feelings, man, but try again next week.
You got to go.
Gotta go. You out of there.
Pack up the truck.
Or the
been
trailer.
In those situations before. That's right. I've been in those situations before. Go or go home, baby. That's all there is to it.
That's right, man. And, a lot of these guys, they might not have a setup, so it makes it a lot harder on them. But sometimes you can take nothing and make it into something. And I'm sure that some of the guys that are out there are able to do that. And there's probably teams involved in this, so they're sharing setups and whatnot. And, just trying to help a brother out. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Sharing information that makes things a lot easier. Comes to doing setups. It can take a lot of time and a lot of effort. So it's nice to have people to share notes with. And people that race in real life, or, even on here, that we've worked on setups before, or look at each other's line, and it helps a lot. But bottom line is, you're the one behind the wheel, you're the one making the decisions here. So we'll see how it works out, as I believe we're getting set up here for our first heat race of the night.
Absolutely. We got cars pulling up there towards the end of pit lane. They're going to line them up and run their first heat race. Like I said, it's going to be 8 laps. And who's it going to be? I don't think they count caution laps here, so if it does go yellow, it's kind of hard to keep up with the laps. So I'll do my best to keep up with that. But they will have cautions if needed. And those won't count towards the 8 laps. So I know it says qualifying's winding down, but we'll get another hour here. As soon as that runs down, it'll switch back to another hour. And then after all these heat races is over, we're going to do a 6-lap dash. Then we're going to do 100 laps. Man, I can't wait for the main event here. And if there's people out there watching and they're kind of bored by what's going on right now, I guarantee you, if you come back here during the main event, the feature event, you're not going to be bored, because there's going to be 19 cars packed on this 3/8 mile oval, side by side, door to door, all over each other like a hobo on a ham sandwich. How about that?
That's going to be a lot of cars out there. But right now, it looks like we got the 244 Chris Wolford out there, the 38, 967, the 36, 78. Man, we got a lot of cars out here for a daggone heat race.
Absolutely, and we're taking a look at some of those paint jobs. That's Chris Wolford in the 244. Looks like he's going to be starting up front. He's got the 36 right on his outside. That's Scotty Grabinski. If we can get a better look at this field, looks like we got 10 or 12 drivers here that's going to run 8 laps. And starting on the pole, like I said, the number 244 car. So they're going to go around one more time, and then we're going to go green, and Chris Wolford's going to send them down into turn 1 sideways in these late models. We're racing pro late models out there, if you're wondering. These are pro late models. There's 3 different kinds of late models, and these are the mid. And the green flag is out. Chris Wolford already got a battle going on, but he managed to clear that number 36 of Scotty Grabinski, but the battle behind him causes the caution to come out there. And
yeah, two separate incidents back there.
Yeah, and I didn't quite catch who it was.
Let's see here, I'm trying to figure it out myself.
But they're gonna go green pretty quick.
Yeah, replays are gonna be few and far between here tonight, I believe.
Yeah, we're not going to do too many replays during these heat races because they do go back green pretty quick, and it's kind of hard to get a replay in time. But we will let you know. But it does look like the number 38 he has a little bit of damage there. It's Tootie Arnold in the 38 car. So
the 57 was the other one that was involved earlier.
The 57 of Lee Fetchiner. And hopefully I said that right, but the 244 still on the pole tonight as they're taking their aggression out on each other right now. We're getting set to go back green right here. It's going to be up to Chris Wolford.
Let's see how good of a start he gets here. He got a great start earlier, but that 36 took a dive to the inside of him and got some grip down there, so we'll see how the inside line works.
Yeah, and like I said, it's going to be 8 laps. I believe we got 7 to go because that incident happened during the first lap, so these caution laps aren't going to count. So Chris Wolford, he got a good start last time. He managed to hang on to it. As the green flag's in the air,
oh, and the 244 gets super tight and goes up to the outside and takes everybody with him there.
Yeah, that was unfortunate for him. It looks like he lost some grip there, and he caught Scotty Grabinski there too. It's going to knock Scotty Grabinski back to the back. And the 727 of Bradley Heinman, and the 78 car, Chris Orientia, the 07 is running in 3rd right now.
And now the 35 overtakes the 244 right here. He's down on the inside. 244 having a hard time. Looks like his car is super tight when he tries to overdrive it. Just getting really loose coming off there, spinning his tires, and it really wastes a lot of time there on the track.
Yeah, it might be something going on with some damage he encountered there, making it hard for him to get around the track.
They got that 07 of Howard Weaver right here, hunting down the 78 of Chris Orincia, I want to say is his name, and I apologize if it's not, but 07 looks like he's got a really good line in here. You see he's not really throwing it too hard. The trick is keep the car as straight as possible, keep the power down, and see if he can't get to the back end of that 78 car.
Yeah, the 78 is looking good, but that 07 of Howard Weaver, we know he's fast because he qualified 4th. So the 78's definitely got his hands full if he wants to keep him behind him and bring this heat race home. As we're winding down the laps here, we're coming at about 2 to go. As he crosses the start-finish line, he maintains the lead, and I believe at this point you just want to finish in the top 4 and make sure you make your way into the main event tonight. But hey, it's kind of hard not to take that win away from Howard. I mean, from the leader there in that 78 car.
Yeah, so plus it's another position. You know, you get to start up in a feature race here, but it's also a test session. The more laps you put down, every single lap in dirt racing, it could be different than the next. So you know exactly how you need to set your car up for the feature.
And I believe this is going to be the last time around, as they're going to come to the checker flag here. The 07 of Howard Weaver really closed the gap there on that last corner. And it's not the last lap, it ain't over yet. So, like I said, don't listen to me. I'm trying to keep up with the laps the best that I can as we're watching the battle between Howard Weaver and Chris Orencia.
Yeah, you see right now the 07 is just in his tracks here. You know, catching a guy here is one thing, passing him, and the 78 gets up in the wall, and so does the 07, it looked like, and the 07 really throws it in.
And he had to check up there, but it was over. Yeah, it was over when they crossed that line. So the win's going to go to the 78, Chris Orencia. And it had to go to the guy that I've been having trouble with pronouncing his name. So, hey, Chris, congratulations on your heat race win. And I really apologize if I butchered that name off. Well, that was our first heat race of the night, and that was exciting. So as I look through the list, I'm kind of trying to pick a favorite here, but you can't pick them too early because you got to make sure they make it to the A main. But I got a couple guys in mind already.
Yeah, I bet you do. And I bet they qualified up front in the first 3 positions.
Not exactly, but that would be a good idea. I might have to change it now.
Well, 100 laps is a long way to go, and that's the other thing about this too is you can, you know, overdrive your car. You can burn the right rear tire up here in 100 laps. So just like when you're racing on asphalt, the same thing applies here to these dirt cars. You've got to take care of your equipment, take care of your tires, because you can burn those things right off. The next thing you know, you've got no grip. And if you start out with your air pressure too low, you build up too much heat. You start out too high, and then the center of the tire, you know, it gets overinflated. You burn that thing up too early. So your setup's got to be spot on for 100 laps.
Yeah, that's something I didn't know. And as you can see down in turn 1, you can see the rubber start to be laid down onto the track. The 29 of Matthew Hearn's getting set to pull out. He's got the number 13 right behind him. The 04, I believe, Steven Rosenbaum. The 13 is Devin Rooks. That's a familiar name over here. The 92. And the 92, I think that's a really good looking car. Ever since I first seen that 92 car, it's I've always thought it looked good. That's Chris McGuire, by the way, in the 92. Let's take a look at it. Elite Motorsports. It's got that CMF Motors and Electrics on there. Old Smoky Moonshine on the hood, man. It's a good looking car, like I said.
It's good moonshine.
It's good moonshine. Absolutely. I'd love to try some moonshine. I haven't tried it yet.
You got the 29 up there, the Sweeteners colors on that car. Tim McCready, I remember those colors. We'll still got those colors, but another good looking car out there. True to life paint job.
All right, so you got the 13, Devin Rooks. On his outside is the number 29 of Matthew Hearn. Second row inside is that 04 car of Steven Rosenbaum. On his outside, the 92 of Chris McGuire. We got the 12 car starting in the third row, Travis Seagraves. On his outside, he's got that number 26. And the 26 is... There's an awful lot of cars in here.
There's a lot.
Kyle Rochinski. It's green.
Oh, the 29 gets in the back of the 13.
13 goes around right in front of the whole field. That's going to cause the yellow to come out for sure. Devin Rooks. And we're definitely going to take a quick replay for that. Wow. Let's see it from Matthew Hearn's point of view here. All right. Oh. He's on the outside pole there when they're getting set to go green, and hopefully we don't miss this here. As they went green, this is on board, and he just, I ain't gonna comment on that, but he couldn't slow it down in time, so let's go back live. As they're getting set.
Come up.
The green flag is ready to wave, and it's out. 13 got his spot back there. Devin Rook maintained the lead. Chris McGuire 3 wide. He's in the middle. He's in between the 29 of Matthew Hearn and Devin Rooks. As we got a stack up behind the 119 and a.
Got those 4 wide back there for position as they all got backed up.
Yeah, the 119 just had nowhere to go as he got stacked up. So we'll take another look at that from the 119. Oh.
Talk about a battle for position. That was intense right there. As soon as those guys all got stacked up, I went and looked at. I've never seen them 4 wide stacked one right beside the other like that.
Yeah, I told you, and this is just a heat race, so wait till the main event. It's gonna be a lot cleaner, but it's gonna be a whole lot more exciting as we go back up front. Devin Rooks still leading them around. Chris McGuire took over that second spot from the 29 of Matthew Hearn. The number 12's up in that mix. Number 12's Travis Seagraves. So we're about to go green one more time. It's up to Devin Rooks. As the green flag's out, him and Chris McGuire get together there a little bit.
Well, they really hook up here too. The 29 is taking way to the bottom here with the 12 car behind him, and he's sticking it down on the bottom against that wall right there. The 29 gets a boot from the 13, and again,
4, 5 wide. I didn't know you. Yeah, I didn't know you could go 5 wide at Lanier, but you just seen it. Devin Rooks lost a couple spots, so we got a new leader.
And we got a big battle back here for position, but the first 3, 4, 5 cars here, all under a blanket of each other here. The 37's out on the inside here, trying to make that bottom line work. But the 13 fighting back up top on the cushion.
Yeah, the number 12, Travis Seagraves, he's done took the lead over. He's got the number 29 of Matthew Hearn. They're running good all night. Right behind him as they're starting to get single file here. They got 8 laps to do this. We got about 4 laps to go. Keyword is about.
Now if you get these guys kind of thinned out just a little bit here, you see what you've got now that you can calm your nerves a little bit. You're not 2, 3, 4 wide and see exactly how your car stacks up here if you're in the front, so you know what you got for the feature. But you want to be careful not get yourself taken out here. So the top 3, 4 guys just want to take it easy, but you still want to run it hard at the same time.
Yeah, and Matthew Hearn's all over the back end of Travis Seagraves right now, but he's got the pressure from behind. Looks like the 29. Chris McGuire's back there running in 5th right now. He's got the 13 of Devin Rooks, which was the pole sitter. He's right in front of him.
Here comes that 26 car trying to fight his way on the bottom here. Under that 37, he's not just going to settle in 4th place here. He wants to know exactly what he's got. Hugging down there against that wall. The 29 goes way up and loses a lot of positions here. Blocks off at 26, and he takes him down to the wall.
Yeah, Matthew Hearn got a little squiggly there. Allowed Randall Carter in the 37 to get away. It looks like Matthew's
26 gave him a little boot there for that action. And now they throw it in and just take, yeah, here we go. This is racing for position right here.
Wow, Dustin Sizemore caught up in one there. They're going to run this one out. So we're on the last lap or two here. So Matthew Hearn down pit road. Dustin Sizemore gathered it back up here, but the number 12, he's hung on to it, man. And the best place to be in a race like this is out front, that's for sure, because you don't want to have to battle with all those guys on a small track like Lanier.
Boy, we've seen being up front's the way to be here. The 37 trying to make that high line work and stick, and he does it.
He got by him on the outside, John.
Maybe
37.
He got the bike coming off. It looks like he's going to get the win here in this heat race.
Yeah, Randall Carter.
I tell you, I hope people don't take my laughing as anything. This is exciting. It takes me back to the days when I used to race on these tracks, and our heat races and things that you would see are just like this. It's that exciting, and guys are pushing for every single inch they can get to try to make the feature race, and it's just unbelievable racing.
And that's exactly it, trying to make the feature race. You know, when you got 40 cars that show up and you're only taking half of them, they only got 8 laps to prove themselves. You got to go. I mean, you got to go. It's, hey, move, I got to go. And sometimes it's not so easy to get some guy to let you go. So everybody's fighting for every inch. And I'm sure that we might have some penalties. We might not. I don't know. Maybe the race admin, he pulls them all into the holler and says, hey, y'all need to calm down a little bit. But I liked it. I enjoyed it. And
when it comes to heat racing, the gloves are off. You take every daggone thing you can get.
That's right, man. And if you just tuned in, that was a wild heat race over here on SRTV Network. We're bringing you the Southern Super Series here on iRacing. They're an iRacing league. Check them out. Check them out on Facebook. They're actually not in a league session here. It's a hosted session. And Southern Super Series, sponsored by Cardwell Brothers Racing, Olsen Fab Metal Fabrications, Royal RV Center, One Call Plumbing and Gas Fitting, CMF Motors and Electrics, Hamill Motorsports, and a lot of people took care of them. And it's good to see that all the support that we get over here in the iRacing world, and from all the viewers out there, and everybody that's watching, man. We really appreciate it.
It just makes these guys want to do a better job. It attracts, real life, real paying sponsors for drivers as well. So, without the viewers tuning in, watching the races, a lot of that couldn't be possible. iRacing puts a lot of work into what they've got here for their product, and us, that do, driving or broadcasting, try to do the best that we can. So when you have viewers, it makes it a lot more worth it, and you can, really advertise your product and put on a good show for people. And I believe that's what these guys have done here in the past few weeks. And I think we're going to see another good one tonight, but it's going to be a door banger for sure, as we saw that in the heat race.
That's one good word to say, a door banger. And I appreciate it. I got word in that cautions laps count. So, I believe they're doing, I thought it was 8 laps. It could be 12. And if I can get a confirmation on that, it'd be great. But, yeah, crazy racing going on over here with the Southern Super Series. And it's going to be exciting. Once these heat races are wrapped up, we're going to watch the 6 fastest guys. And, maybe not the fastest guys, but it's going to be the top 2 finishers from each heat race are going to put on a show, I believe. And that's one of my favorite races right there. The 6 cars battling it out for that pole position.
Yeah, nothing bad can ever happen with that. I know they tried that at a track one time, and that race did not end well. But it's a lot to see and enjoy. But that's the thing about dirt track racing, is you've got to hit your lines every single time. You got to know how the track is changing. You got to anticipate what the guy in front of you is doing. And we saw that in the last heat race with the, I believe it was a 29 car getting in the back of that 13 on the start. He really didn't anticipate the 13 checking up as much as he did, but the 13's trying to stay on the bottom and not let the rear end drift high and get spun around. So the 29 really had to work his way to the right-hand side and throw it in there more and not, you know, work his way around the bottom like he wanted to. He didn't anticipate the 13 slowing up to stay on the bottom. I have not. I think it'll be interesting to see this 00 of Kendall Tucker. See what he can do here. He's got a great looking car, 00, and I just wonder if he's part of the infamous Tucker racing family. Yeah, they're setting a field here. I believe they're doing an inversion here, I think. The 3 and 4 wide racing in the back right there. We got Tucker in the 00 working that bottom line here, seeing if he can't get around the leader. Just going to settle in here. We got 100 laps to go. He doesn't want to tear anything up right now. But right now, the bottom line, the guys I think are going to work that, and they're going to go to the top as the race line's on. That's going to be on the 77. Not quite sure what happened yet. I just want to give you a number real quick. Yeah, I said about the Tuckers. There's a bunch of Tuckers that run dirt late models out of Carolina. Very good race car drivers. And back in my day, we raced. Noel Tucker was another one that ran 00. Very good guy, great driver as well. So the Tucker family, if he's a part of that, he can race.
Well, we're going to find out because the green flag's out. It's on Ricky LeDuc to hold off all them. Look like a pack of wild animals behind them. They're 3 wide off. 2 there. Blake Cannon was sandwiched in between the 00. Kendall Tucker. Ricky LeDuc starting to gather a little bit of a gap there. They're all fighting for the bottom, it looks like, and the caution's out again. We got a pile up in turn 1 and 2. And you've seen that
92,
one.
92's involved. 19. There are lots of cars back there involved.
What a pile up there.
They all got
Wow.
back going again. But I tell you, these guys are 3 and 4 wide and making it work. Yeah, they're beating and banging and slamming doors. But yeah, nobody's mad about it. Nobody's saying anything. They just keep them going, and that's what you got to do.
Yeah, man. I mean, you got to keep your head in the game. And, you know, if the car's all right, then you should be all right. And that's the way I see it. And if you're still able to go out there and run some laps, you need to go out there and run some laps because we're all out here to have some fun. And that's the #1 goal is to have fun and try to win. The lights go off on the pace car this time by as it barely beats the pace car off pit road. I believe it's going to put him behind the pace car though, but we'll see. I doubt it.
Right now I got mine on that 721.
James Normoyle.
James Normoyle, and the 14 of Blake Cannon. As we know, Blake put down the fastest time in qualifying.
All right, we went to a single file restarts here. So it's going to be single file restarts from here on out.
Well, the 14 gets it quick while the 00 of Tucker, but gets it straightened back out. Gets the thing back digging again, and here comes the 2 on the inside of Tucker.
Yeah, he got around Kendall Tucker in that 00, but Kendall Tucker, he's not going to give up. He's all over the back end. He's got the 51 of James Shirley right behind him. They're side by side coming through the corner. That's the 00 Kendall Tucker and the #2 of Heath Lawson. What a battle.
I want to keep your eye on it. He's been making his way up through here, and he's been doing it on the high side. So look for him to stay in that groove, as it looks like it's working for him. The car's able to drive off that high side. And he carries a lot of speed on entry.
Yeah, and sometimes you're able to keep your momentum built up when you're out there on the high side too. And you know, it's a little more slick down there on the bottom, but it looks like that's where most of the cars are running at right now.
And 00 gets in there, drives into the bottom, and gives the 2 just a little tap and says, hey man, I'm right here. Maybe his car's starting to come in for him now, as Tucker may have set it up for later on in the run.
Yeah, we got, what, 76 laps to go, 77 laps to go, so. Wow, look at all the dust flying in the air, man. What a nice looking race here at Lanier. And I guarantee that the people that live nearby know that there's a race going on right now. As the 107's on the inside of the 07 of Howard Weaver. Howard Weaver up in that high groove, moving it on up through air.
Yeah, 107's trying to make it work on the bottom. As you can see, it's starting to slick off, which means there's not a lot of grip down there. Oh, when they get together, it looks like the 39, I believe that is his number.
Yeah, Blake Fomer. Looked like Blake Fomer tapped the wall a little bit when they made contact, but he was able to keep it going there. Ricky LeDuc is our leader. He's coming up on that car that came up off of pit road there at the last minute, so he's looking to put him a lap down. That's the 777 car of Jacob Leverstein. And he's looking pretty fast there. He's able to stay in front of Ricky LeDuc so far, so if he can get a caution, he'll stay on the lead lap there, but if he don't, he's going to go a lap down because Ricky LeDuc is out there flying around here.
That 14 of Blake Cannon right here is all over the 721 of James Mohr. Every time they're on entry here, the 14's driving up to the left rear. You see the 721 left rear quarter just pushed in a little bit, but the 14 looks like he's pretty fast, pushing a little bit on entry and trying to make up for it center off. I was going to try the high side and see if he can't do something with this 721 here to see if Blake has made a little adjustment. Looks like he has, as he's moved up the track a little bit, getting away from that wall there. Now he's down the inside of the 721, see if he can make it stick. He's going to slide a lot. The 721 is going to be able to pull this off.
Yeah, James Mohr Jr., man, he's maintaining onto that spot, but Blake Cannon hasn't given up yet, and I don't think he's going to. Blake Cannon's always been fast, and so is James, so these guys are putting on a show right now for second and third, and Blake really wants that second spot. If he can get around him, maybe he can run down Ricky LeDuc, but right now Ricky LeDuc is checked out. He's got about, looks like a 1.5 second lead over second place, James Mohr Jr.
Now we got a great battle right here for fourth. Kendall Tucker to the outside of the 2. Tucker up on the high side here, making it work on that cushion. Crosses the cushion a bit, the 2 fights back on the inside, and they're still side by side.
Yeah, that high side looks to be working there a little bit. As you see, the people that are out on that high side happen to make that pass. You think it's because they got a lift?
Absolutely you do on the bottom now, where it's so slick. If you get into it, what's going to happen is the rear end just starts spinning. It sends the car more and more to the right. It's just like pushing on asphalt. So you're going to go up into the guy next to you, and you could take both of you out, especially at a small track like this. When it sends that guy around, it just sends him into you. So, and essentially you're wrecking yourself by doing that. So you have to lift. The speed right now looks like it's starting to come up to the high side as we see that 00 at Tucker. The 721's up there. The 14's on the inside trying to take it away.
Yeah, he pulled he finally got that pass made. He pulled the slide job there, but now James is on the bottom on the inside. Let's see if James can make it happen. But guess what? Kendall Tucker in the 00, he's flying, man. He's starting to catch up with James and Blake there. So we're going to have a 4-car battle here for second as Ricky LeDuc has done checked out. Look at the number 2, Heath Lawson. He looks really fast out there. He's making it work down on the bottom. On his outside is Kendall Tucker in the 00. Kendall Tucker, he's just trying to fight to hold on to that 4th place. Blake Cannon looks like he's starting to pull away a little bit from James Mohr Jr. James is really fast as usual. And, you know, I don't know if they're going to be able to run down Ricky LeDuc at this pace right now. Ricky LeDuc's opened up that gap to a 1.9, almost 2 seconds he's got over second place right now.
Lap traffic is going to play a big factor in this, but the 14 at Cannon has really come on strong here in these last couple laps. He was a 13.9 2 laps ago, ran a 14.06 last lap. Let's see what he runs this lap as they come across the line here. A 13.98. So Blake Cannon really starting to come on strong here.
Yeah, the leader ran a 14.2, and the second, Blake Cannon, in second, he ran a 13.9. That's almost 3/10, because it was a high 9. That Blake is faster than Ricky, so at that pace, he's got a chance to catch Ricky LeDuc. So Blake just needs to keep his head down, stay focused, and stay out of that mirror, because James Normore Jr. is all over the back end, and he's all up in the rearview mirror of Blake.
He is. He's running the same line and running the same time. He's ran a 13.99 last time by. They're going to come across the line this time. Let's see what James runs. A 14.06. So him and Blake are right on with each other with their lap times.
Yeah, the 14 of Blake Cannon, the 7:21 of James Normore Jr., and the 00 of Kendall Tucker are all running 14 zeros. Guess what? The leader running 14.2. So if they can catch, they definitely got a chance to catch Ricky LeDuc. But the problem is Ricky LeDuc, he's done opened up a gap on them, and they've done decreased that gap by almost a second. They've cut it down to a 1.2 second lead. So if they can stop battling each other so early in this race, as we're coming up on halfway, and they run single file, it'll keep Ricky LeDuc from spreading that gap out there, and it'll give him a chance to catch him and maybe make the pass to take that lead.
Well, that's the thing about dirt racing as well, is that the leader got out there, oh, we got a big wreck here. Two cars that came together back there. Let's see if I can figure out who that was.
The 51 car, it looks like, of James Shirley. As he's stuck on the track, looks like he's got a lot of damage, so we'll definitely go back and take a look at the replay, see what happened to that 51 car. Oh, he just caught the right rear. It's slung him up into the outside wall. The 15 had nowhere to go. Ends up running into the back of him. And the 15, Stephen Bordeaux, calls the 777 to get involved there. And the 07, man, he almost got caught up in that one. That's Howard Weaver. He's running up in the top 10. So good thing he got around that. And they had to call a tow truck to get that 51 off the track. He's finally made his way down pit road, actually. He said, "No, I don't want that tow truck. I'll just drive it." He's going to go in, get his car fixed, and he'll be back out. So we'll take a look right now at our top 5. As you know, that's going to give Blake Cannon a chance. Now, it's going to close that gap as we're getting set to go green. Ricky LeDuc, Blake Cannon, James Normore Jr., Kendall Tucker, and Heath Lawson as the caution's back out.
All right, caution been waved again here. Green flag been called off.
Yeah, so they're going to make another lap around as the pace car is coming back out. I don't even think it should come out, but it's going to.
Yeah, the pace car jumped the wall.
Yeah, he's in a 4-wheel drive. That is a Chevy there, you know. If it was
like a rock. Here
that
we
was
go.
a green flags in the air. Ricky LeDuc gets a great start over Blake Cannon, but Blake Cannon keeps it down on the bottom. James Normore Jr. fighting off Kendall Tucker in the 00. They're starting to move up a little bit higher on the track right now as they're coming off a 2. Down into 1. Blake Cannon can't quite keep up there with Ricky LeDuc right now, but looks like he's going to close the gap right there as Ricky LeDuc got a little bit sideways there. So we'll keep an eye on the top 5.
Yeah, Ricky ran the fastest lap that time against Blake. Blake's going to go down to the inside. There's no grip down there. That's the problem. So now this is where we're going to see guys when they really drive it down in deep to the inside and try to pull off that slide job, but you just got to hope the guy behind you is far enough behind where he can't touch you.
Yeah, we got David Carwell done broke up into the top 10. The 107 car, he's running in 7th right now.
I think the 721 and 00 right here is we still got some laps to put down. Maybe 721 just biding his time, waiting on these two up front to maybe get into each other. And they do the 14 taps in 96.
Yeah, Blake Cannon's, yeah, Gives him a little bump, slides past him down on the inside. I'm sure Ricky LeDuc liked that a whole lot now, as he's got Blake Cannon all up in his view. He can see the back end of it, but can he keep up with him? We'll see. James Normore Jr. is going to be battling Ricky LeDuc for that second spot.
And again, I think the patience here, the 721 and 00 may pay off here. So you know this 96 is going to be digging as hard as he can to get back to that 14, trying to get that spot back.
What a show so far. We're on lap 62, coming to 63 right now out of 100 over here at Southern Super Series. And right now, Blake Cannon is leading them around. He's led 3 laps. He just now took the lead over from Ricky LeDuc, which led the whole way so far. But now Blake Cannon's starting to pull away there. James Normore Jr. still running in third. He fought his way up there. He's got the 00 Kendall Tucker right behind him. A lot of great battling going on. As we take a look from the blimp, we got cars all over the track. We got one backwards on the backstretch. Looks like it's going to be the number 3 car. And the caution's out. I can't tell if it was the number 3. It looked like it from the blimp. But I didn't have no binoculars.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out. You said it so confidently, so I just figured that's what it was.
Yeah, I'm not for sure. It looked like a 3. I could be wrong. He was
the 92.
Oh, Chris McGuire.
92 just got spun around there and put up against the wall, but he's back rolling again, so no harm, no foul, just back at it. Oh my gosh.
Well, I apologize. I couldn't bring a replay there for you there. Looks like they're trying to sort out a few things on the track.
And the oh my gosh was the guys were slowing down trying to get squared away, and 92 and some other guys didn't slow down and wound up running in the back of them. So 92 now has done a lot of harm to himself here. So green flag been waved off, caution's back out. They were going to go green, but they waved it off here.
Yeah, we're taking a look at that 92 of Chris McGuire. He's got a lot of damage there to the left front of his car. He's missing a little bit of sheet metal there, but it might run good. You just have to run a couple laps and see. 'Cause yeah, we're still under yellow. Not bad. I mean, they've been doing a lot of hard racing, and to have minimal cautions like they've had. I mean, they got a lot of talented drivers over here, and I really enjoy watching a race like this, especially at a small track like this in these late models. They're 4 wide under caution. The 777 getting his lap back there. Jacob Leverstein, he's not even messing around. He's trying to get his stuff back together. As the lights go off on the pace truck, they're going to start single file. And the caution's out again.
Yeah, they're just allowing the guys that had to get repairs done, get them back out on the track so they don't get caught a lap down for things like that. This is such a short track. Pit road speed is very slow, so can really ruin a guy's race doing that. So it's good for the league to you know, give these guys the ability to be able to stay on the lead lap and come back out and compete.
No. Wow, the 777 just let him have it as he was trying to get his lap back. You know, it's a little harder to slow down on dirt than it is asphalt. Green flag. Blake Cannon. You know why they call him Blake Cannon?
Yeah, as he does restarts like he shot out of a cannon.
That's right. Blake Cannon maintains the lead. Ricky LeDuc right behind James Normore Jr. Kendall Tucker and Heath Lawson is your top 5. The 07 is Howard Weaver. David Carwell still running in 7th in the 107 car. They're looking good.
Got a great battle here with the 721 00 and the 2. 2 being very patient here, trying different lines to see what's going to work for them.
3 wide. It's crazy how you got 3 cars taking 3 different lines through the corner, and then they're single file down the straightaways.
Well, a lot of times that's just, you know, on your entry. You're trying to see where the turn is, and you're not necessarily trying to get under that guy. You just want to see, you know, where the turn's at, where's the exit, so you can get a better view of it. You get the grip, and you just drive off of there. But right now, these guys are just trying to make this line work, make up a little bit of time on the guy in front of them. But then the trick is trying to find a way around them. And the only way you can do that on a 3/8 mile most of the time is a really good slide job where you got to move that guy.
Look at Heath Lawson, Kendall Tucker, and Howard Weaver. They're battling out for the number 4 spot. As James Normal Jr. in that yellow and black late model right there is trying to catch up to Ricky LeDuc. Blake Cannon, he's just riding around. He's got a good shot at this as we're getting close to 20 to go.
Here comes that 07. Howard Weaver to the inside. Tucker went a little high there in that last turn. Having to go underneath here, try to pull off a slide job on 721. Can't get the grip. 721 going to pull away, but Howard Weaver in the 07 is really coming on strong.
Yeah, that 07, it looks like he's running down a lane lower than everybody else. Everybody else is up on the high line, and he's still down on the bottom there, and he's making it work. He can't quite make the pass there on Kendall Tucker, but the track's starting to get a little bit more slick. The cushion's moving up a little higher towards the wall.
It really is, and you're going to see the 00 with Tucker is about the only car that I've seen so far that's running as high as he is into the corner. You see right here, he's going right up to where the cushion is at, trying to use that to his advantage. Keep the momentum up. The 07 doesn't get the drive off. You can't get the power down here to get around him. So as long as that 00 stays in that line, it looks like it's working. He's going to go to the inside here, trying to get around that 721, but you just can't get the drive. And he gets sideways and clipped by the 07.
Oh, and he goes around. Not a whole lot of damage there. He just kind of spun it around, and it brought out the caution there. So we'll definitely go back and take another look at that. But hey, he didn't lose a whole lot of spots, and he didn't get a whole lot of damage there. So he was just trying to keep it off of James Normal Jr. there, and he got a little bit sideways, and then got a little bit of contact there, spun him on around, but he managed to hang on to it. And you know, for all the battling that they were doing, they did a phenomenal job of you know, not taking each other out there. I mean, they were side by side, 3 and 4 wide there for you know, we're 85 laps into it, so they've been battling for a long time there. And for everybody that's just tuning in, I'm Jay Weezy, and I got John Wimbish, the legend, the dirt legend, the asphalt legend, the living legend, up here in the booth with me as we're coming to about 15 to go on this here race here at Lanier. So you're watching the Southern Super Series here on SRTV Network, and I hope everybody out there is enjoying this racing action, because I know I am. It's very, very exciting to watch these late models run around here. The lights are off on the pace car, and I believe that it's going to be the last caution. They're going to start them double file this time. This is going to be exciting.
14 gets a great start. 07 Howard Weaver on the bottom under that 2 car. Getting that drive off the bottom. Look at it hooking it. Got the grip 3 wide now into the turn with the 721 and the 9605.
What a lot of talent between James Normal Jr., the 07 of Howard Weaver, Ricky LeDuc, Heath Lawson, David Cardwell's up to 6th.
Oh, and the 721 get together. And somehow the 07 holds on to it and is able to keep going. If you can pull that up on the replay, you will see the front end of his car facing the wall. That was an extraordinary driving job right there, saving that.
Yeah, let's see if we can find it here on the replay. Looks like it was the 78 of Chris Oriensa. They got a little bit of contact there. Turns to 78. The 67 of Cameron gets involved there. 17, it's a little bit of damage, not a whole lot. And they managed to keep it on the track there. They don't have to pit, and we're at 11 to go. Looks like the 78 of Chris Oriensa, he's going to pull it on in. It's going to end his night here tonight. So we go back live up front. Blake Cannon's still the leader on this one. On his outside, he's got Ricky LeDuc. Second row inside is the number 2 of Heath Lawson. 07 car of Howard Weaver. David Carwell up to 5th. And 6th place is James Normoyle Jr. The green's out. 10 to go.
07 Weaver's on the bottom here under that 96. He's been able to make that work.
Oh, we got another caution here.
Couple cars collected in the back. 3, 4 of them back there.
Oh, look like David Carwell and 55 just barely made a little bit of contact, just enough to mess up the 55's line. Turns his car around a little bit. We'll take one more look from the cockpit. Ooh, and that's how it goes. Oh, we had one up on 2 wheels there, so.
I'll tell you, that job earlier that Howard Weaver did saving his car was on shades of Don O'Neill, and the number 5 World Outlaws late model save right there. A lot of pictures going around Facebook of that. Man was completely sideways, pulled that off. Howard Weaver just did the same thing earlier. That was unbelievable.
Yes, we're coming down to the end of this one. We got 7 to go, 6 to go now. And the lights are off on the pace car, so get ready because somebody's going to win this one. And Blake Cannon's got a heck of a shot as he's going to be the one leading them to the green flag and down into turn 1.
Oh, the 96 gets a really bad start. Opens the door for the 2 and the 721 to get in there. The 07 now in second place. 721 inside the 2, 3 wide.
Yeah, the 2 was a sandwich there. Heath Lawson, he was the meat in the middle. But you're right. He lost a lot of spots there on that outside, that 96 car, Ricky LeDuc, which has led a lot of laps here tonight. And Blake Cannon hangs on to it as he comes across the line. It's going to be 3 to go as they're 5 wide behind them, which is where the battle's going to be. Oh, one around.
They're still going. No cautions out here. Howard on it. Trying to catch that 14 to Cannon and the 96 behind him. And then we got a battle here with the 721 and the 16.
Yeah, James Normoyle Jr., he's been up top 5 all night. He's done a phenomenal job of driving that. He's got the 16 of Leo Pena on the bottom. Leo Pena's got, as he taps the wall a little bit, white flag is in the air. We're on the last lap here. Can Blake Cannon? Oh, no.
Cannon tries to go back after him and misses. Looked like he wanted to try that.
Howard Weaver for the last lap pass. We're definitely going to go back and watch that and see how this race ended. They make a little bit of contact. Let's check it from the stands here. So we take one more look. Blake Cannon still got the lead there over Howard Weaver. Howard Weaver up on the high side. Blake Cannon, look like Howard gets a good run there on the straightaway. He's still running the high side here as they take this last lap around. Blake Cannon still out front. Howard Weaver dives it down on the inside, pulls a little bump and run, and manages to bring it home tonight. Howard Weaver led 1 lap, but guess what, John? He led the most important one. The last one. So our winner tonight is going to be Howard Weaver with a last lap pass coming out of 4, and he beats him to the line to bring this one home. And you know, I hope there's no hard feelings there between him and Blake Cannon, because that's just how it goes in racing, man. I mean, unless he gets penalized for that bump and run, which I doubt that I don't think he should be. You know, it's just dirt racing, and rubbing's racing when you're racing dirt. And I think he did the right thing there. He didn't wreck him. All he did was, you know, give him a little tap, just enough to upset that car enough so that he could get the lead and beat him down to the front line. So, as this one's rounding out, or this race is finishing up, we're going to take a look at our race results. Howard Weaver, Blake Cannon, Ricky LeDuc, James Normal Jr., Leo Pena, David Cardwell, Stephen Bordeaux, Jacob Leverstein, Barrett Bishop and Chris McGuire, Bailey Lofton, Lee Fetchenauer, Randall Carter, Kendall Tucker, Heath Lawson, John Rooks, Garrett Niebrook, James Shirley, and Cameron Bolin. And to round out the top 20 there, Chris Orencia. And man, I don't know about you, but I really enjoyed that. And for them to be able to put on a show at this small track like that, I had a whole lot of fun watching it. And I give a lot of credit to Howard Weaver there on that last lap pass, as he really did a great job to take that. He pretty much stole the win there from Blake Cannon. So hats off to him for the win tonight. Hopefully the admins won't take it away from him. What'd you think about it, John? What'd you think about it?
These guys did an unbelievable job. It was really exciting to watch and be a part of. And like I said, Howard, Weaver just came on there at the end. He was super fast. And this is just how, short track racing goes. You get in there and it's about, beating and, banging on each other a little bit. And, hey, I've been wrecked in real life, on the second lap and the last lap. Doesn't matter. But, when it's for a win, I'd wreck my grandma for a win. So it's just how it goes. But, I'm sure there's a little tempers there for, right now. But really, Blake Cannon, you got to look at it. He did a terrific job. He was fast all night long, qualified up front. Had a fast car, but Howard made the right adjustments and drove his car like he should. And yeah, he gave him a hard time there through 3 and 4 and drove in there, got real tight on him like you're supposed to do, and made a little bit of contact there. And those things happen. So just on to the next one, and now you race the guys how they race you.
Yeah, I think he did a great job there at the end, and like I said, dirt racing, you're going to have a little bit of contact, and when it comes down to turn 4 coming to the checkered, a little bit of bumping ain't going to hurt. It might hurt your feelings, but he didn't take the guy out. Blake Cannon put on a great performance tonight. Hats off to him for leading all them laps. I think he led 38 laps there. And Ricky LeDuc as well, as he finished 3rd. James Normal Jr., he put on a heck of a show, as well as Leo Pena, David Cardwell, Stephen Bordeaux. A lot of talented drivers. I had a lot of fun up here in the booth with you, and I really appreciate you coming over here and helping me out. And thanks to all the sponsors that sponsor this league. They really help out a lot. Thanks to David Cardwell too, man, for letting me come on board over here and broadcast this race. And Southern Super Series is sponsored by Cardwell Brothers Racing, Olsen Fab Metal Fabrication, Royal RV Center, One Call Plumbing and Gas Fitting, Hamill Motorsports, and CMF Motors and Electrics. And hey, like I said, thanks again for coming up here in the booth with me. And until next time, good luck out there. And I appreciate everybody that's tuning in. And hey, man, I hope everybody enjoyed this race tonight. So until next time, for SRTV Network and John Wimbish, I'm Jay Weezy. Everybody have a good night.